John freaking Frusciante is back with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
With this new release, Unlimited Love.
I honestly don't even know if this is true or am I just dreaming?
Or is it just fantasy?
Yeah, or is this just fantasy?
It might just be fantasy.
Hey, it's a record!
For now, we're here to review
Their
the
latest
12th studio album.
Yeah.
It was released on the 1st of April, 2022, and let's first talk about the songs, and then in the end we'll kind of talk about how we feel about the album overall.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea?
That's great.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first song on the album was this the first single?
This was the first single.
Yes, Black Summer.
Black Summer.
I should have probably checked how the singles went, but yeah, I think it was the first one. What did you think?
Yeah, it was really. I like this song very much. It has this sort of classic Red Hot Chili Peppers feel to it, with all these little licks, and with the overall feel is very laid back. I would say like it's really summery.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah. So it has its like own thing, and it's great a starter song.
And I guess
Definitely.
like it felt like a very classic Red Hot Chili Pepper song anyway.
Yeah.
And honestly, the guitar solo made me cry. Nobody could have made me cry. And I think it's a song that kind of, having heard the kind of live version on Jimmy Kimmel, I think it'll be just a killer live.
Yeah.
Whenever we get to see that. So
Yeah. So.
A very good opening.
Yeah, indeed.
The second song is Here Ever After, and how do you feel?
It sounded like this, like very much to their By the Way era style, but it still has its own thing going on, and overall very good song to put like in the beginning of the record.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. I think I also felt like the By the Way era very much so, but I also felt like in the chorus there was kind of a stadium, arcadium.
In a way,
kind of vibe, yeah.
But it's really like a driven song.
Yes, for sure, yeah.
So there's.
And I love the Tom comp.
Yeah.
Or comp, is that in English? No.
What
did you say?
Tom Beat.
Tom Beat,
yeah. No, well, anyways.
I don't know. At some point, yeah.
The third song, Aquatic Mouth Dance.
The very best song on the album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think for the first time I heard it, I just thought it was a masterpiece. I love the bass, just obviously with the Peppers anyway. I feel like because Flea is just extraordinary on what he does. Obviously they all are in their own elements, but Flea is just, if I had a band, or I do have a band, but if I had any band and I could choose anyone to play the bass, Flea would be the obvious choice for me. And I just love how the way he plays, and obviously when they play together with John, how they interact and obviously then with Chad as well, but just how he leads with the bass.
Yeah.
And I think in this song especially, I just got those vibes. And just Motown vibes all over.
Yeah. I mean, like you could really hear from this song that it's Flea's song.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He has contributed so much to this, and
his
to
soul.
me, his soul. Yeah, indeed. Like it's very, to me at least, this is probably the most musically interesting track on the album.
For sure.
It has so much things going on. The real overall like classic funkadelic P-funk kind of like feel to it. Obviously you said the Motown feel, but like to me it has this resonates this kind of strong funkadelic feel,
sure.
And in the end that kind of like big band
moment in the end especially
is really cool.
So I feel like this is I think we're gonna come back to that later, but the whole album has a lot of elements from their kind of previous stuff, different albums.
Yeah.
Most probably Stadium Arcadium, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think yours too.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably the song that is the most reinvented song that really doesn't. I wouldn't really put it on any of the other records.
Definitely no.
So.
Yeah, it has very much its own thing going on, and it pretty much they haven't done anything like this.
No.
So.
I loved it.
It's
so
amazing.
Good.
The fourth track, Not the One. Well, this is a slow song. It's very mellow. To me, it reminded a lot of their song Slow Cheetah.
Yes.
Probably the idea was pretty much put from that. Might be, I don't know, but like...
Very similar.
It has that strong Stadium Arcadium feel. Stadium Arcadium has really much this kind of like really mellow, not that much driven songs. It's a big album, it has a lot of songs, but it has a lot of these very slow and mellow paced songs to it. But overall, I really much liked it. The way they put it as a fourth track really fits to the overall feel.
And I do think I felt like there was kind of this Pink Floyd vibe with how John uses the guitar kind of
and the effects.
So I felt like the whole very Pink Floyd-y feel to it. And I also find that it's a very timeless song, that it could have really been written in any era.
Definitely.
So I think also that it could just really grow to be a classic in that sense that you can't really pinpoint it to a certain time.
It's timeless pretty much.
Yeah. So I think that I really think it's a beautiful song. The fifth song on the album is Poster Child, which was the second single, I'd like to say.
It's the second,
Actually, Not the One was probably the third single, which we forgot to say. I think it was a single too. It was just before the release.
Okay.
Anyway, if I'm not completely mistaken. But anyway, but Poster Child now. I think it's just a fun song overall, very fast-paced lyrically especially, and I think this is the song that I think Anthony has done a great job lyrically on this album anyway. But in this song, it was the very first thing I was kind of drawn to, just how it flows and how he kind of puts these kind of band names, Motorhead, Led Zeppelin, everything, and just how he uses that. I think it was just a very fun song.
Indeed, it's a very summer feel again to it. It has this kind of like LA in the summer feel to it, you know.
Or how we imagine it to be. We've never been. But
we've never been in LA, but that's the overall feel that we get from the song. And to me personally, when I hear the song, I think about their like older, like their Blood Sugar Sex Magic album, which is like their best album ever, and like pretty much like their 80s stuff a lot. And it reminded me also strongly, especially on the guitar work, the way John uses the funk rhythms. It reminded me of those James Brown moments, and kind of like also this kind of Bob Marley reggae feel to it from time to time.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice mix between all these different musical elements.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, really good song.
Love it. The sixth song on the album is The Great Apes. I must say, firstly, I love just the bass melody in the beginning. That's not how it goes, but that is just. I'm not really good at remember melodies, but that's what I've written down. That kind of caught my ear while first hearing the album. But otherwise, I think this is just, we're gonna for sure come back to that later on, but I think it's a very strong album. It's whole, as we've said, we've really liked the first 5 songs. So I think this song, for me at least, I just felt was a bit, it's not a bad song, but it didn't really it didn't really make me feel anything. I don't know, it just didn't really stand out, I guess. So it was nice to listen to it, a nice song in the background, but it didn't really, at least on the 2 first listens I've had of the album, it doesn't really.
Probably it's a song that grows you over time, but
Might
to
be,
me
yeah.
personally, just both personally, it was more felt like that kind of filler song.
Yeah, a bit,
that it doesn't really stand out that strongly, but it's a great song nevertheless. But like it has this kind of like leftover track feel to it. It's only natural. Well, what really stands in this song is the slap bass.
Yes.
The overall like really funky slap bass. This song as well has this strong stadium arcadium feel to it. But yeah, it's a great song. I really liked it. But like the Great Apes, it really doesn't that much stand out as a really strong track, at least in my opinion. But then again, you know.
I loved the slap bass too. That was the first thing I was kind of heard and got kind of excited about. But I also heard some kind of like sick love vibes from the Getaway album, which was interesting because obviously having John back, the whole dynamic in the band is a bit different than obviously during Josh's era. So I don't think those, like the Getaway and the other album,
I'm With You.
I'm With You, I don't get, it's not really that much vibes from those albums, but somehow in this song, especially in, I think it's in the pre-chorus or the chorus, I just had some kind of same feel as I had when I heard Sick Love for the first time, which is one of my favorite songs on the Getaway.
Yeah.
So yeah, something from that too.
Yeah. She's a Lover. This is probably like my favorite song on this album. Like it just resonated me so strong. These feelings. That's and like it has this sort of really pretty, almost like a bittersweet in a way, story about love and relationship, and it has these really nice Flea's bass chords that he plays over the melody that John is playing. So it's like it's nice to see and listen the way that they interact between, like those 3 guys, you know, Flea, Chad, John. They just have such a great chemistry.
For sure, yeah.
Together, they're just meant to play
and make music together.
And make music together, pretty much. When you hear this track and these tracks, you just know that, okay, like this is the way Red Hot Chili Peppers should sound, pretty much. And it has this sort of almost like a classical music feel, at least from the way Flea plays those bass chords.
And didn't you feel like it was kind of when we were listening to it, you said that it's kind of a Bach vibe?
Yeah, it has that kind of like minor Bach feel to it.
I guess in the chorus or something.
In the chorus, yeah, where he uses those chords, and especially the John's like final solo is just so great, and it like went straight to my heart.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty song.
Yeah. And I think, this whole album, as I guess we'll come back to when we talk about the whole album, but it's a summer album. It's summer in California, it's summer anywhere. It's just sun and kind of the waves and the breeze and everything. But this song especially, I just felt like I want to be outside in the ocean and I just want to be there. And obviously Funkadelic is obviously very... you can hear it in a lot of songs, but I think with She's a Lover, yeah.
And it's really catchy, the way the She's a Lover, She's a Lover.
It just makes you dance even like this.
Like
you don't even need to hear it.
Yeah.
Just the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 9th song on the album is These Are the Ways. And what I love this song. It's very different again from everything else on the album and from what they've done. And obviously we just also saw the performance they did on, I think that was on Fallon. They performed this on the rooftop, and that just made the song even better.
Yeah.
I feel there was just something. So like the drums are amazing, and especially after seeing the live version, Chad just how he plays with his whole heart and his whole soul in that album, probably a lot for Taylor and for him in that way, but still just the whole heart and soul in that. And I guess because this has just such heavy drums and the heavy riff, I think it's very different for John.
Yeah.
How he
it's a very different approach that he probably would normally play. To me, I heard a lot of those really much. Well, obviously those punk influences that Red Hot Chili Peppers has always had, but like then there's this kind of like Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilot grunge feel to it, and the way Chad plays those drum parts, especially on the snare, it kind of like reminded me a lot of those The Who, early The Who, like 60s, 70s The Who feel to it.
And I think this was just a song I would never have probably expected to hear on the album. So when that came along, and I think it was great on the album, but then having also seen the live version, it just grew, and I hope to see it live somewhere too, because
amazing
loved
song.
it, loved the drums,
great,
especially. The 10th song on the album is Whatchu Thinkin. And what do you think?
Well, it was alright, yeah. It had that sort of Californication era feel to it, but to me it really didn't stand out that strong. I don't know about you, but...
No, I think, especially since it's an album with 17 songs, not every song is gonna stand out from the mass on the first listen. This is one of those that I think is a great summer song, nice funk feel. I like the song and the bass especially. Just nice rhythmic, but it was nothing really different about it. But just, I think it's a very classic Peppers song and feel. It's fun, it's fresh, you just want to go to the ocean and have fun.
Yeah. Bastards of Light.
Or Life.
Was it Light or Life?
Let's see. No, Light. Sorry, that's me. Bastards of Light. I thought it was the Bastards of Life.
Jumalauta. Anyways.
It was much better when it was the Bastards of Life. I was like, I feel this song.
This obviously is a John's song. You could hear just by listening to it that it has very much like John's contribution to it.
Yeah.
And the way like you could hear that kind of like acoustic feel to it, but then with all these weird synth sounds, because John does a lot of on his own solo work, he does a lot of those very weird synth sounds. So he wanted to obviously contribute them into the song. And the way I hear it is that he probably was listening to a lot of Genesis, especially like the early 70s Lamb Lies Down era feel to it. Because it has a lot of those very experimental synth parts. And this very much like reminded me of that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this was for sure one of those that stand out musically from the rest. Although still being, I think even these songs that kind of stand out, they still fit the vibe. Like they're still summery and they're still fun and they're still somehow light. But yeah, this was for sure from the weirder side. Kind of a weird atmospheric
more
feel.
of an experimental feel to it.
But then again, I don't know why, but I got some kind of country vibes from the chorus. I could feel, going through the States, having a road trip and then just having, the southern states and just, I don't know. I just got that feel.
It has that sort of acoustic
Yeah, somehow in the chorus,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then otherwise I think because having those kind of 70s Genesis vibes, but still it was somehow very modern with those synth sound as well, and those kind of weirdness happening and the rhythmic part of that. So
again, it's a very great song example of like mixing all these different
styles
and their
and different eras as well. Yeah. So somehow modern, but still somehow so much from some very different time.
Indeed, yeah.
But it works. I think
it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Then the 12th song was White Braids and Pillow Chair, which is a very beautiful love song. That's really the only thing I got out of that.
Yeah, a nice love song. Again, it has this very much mellow Stadium Arcadium feel to it, but yeah.
I don't know, that's really everything I have
works.
to say about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
For now, at least.
Yeah.
The 13th song on the album is One Way Traffic. And my first feel was just that this is gonna work live with all the AO, EO. How did it go?
AO, AO.
Ew, ew. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of a By the Way era here again.
Yeah, indeed.
This one, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think this is just a fun song again. It's gonna work live very well. I think it's gonna work live better than it did on the album.
Yeah. Well, personally, this is like my my least favorite song. I'm sorry.
No, but it's probably because you usually don't like songs that are kind of easily approachable live. You usually like the more...
I'm more into like weird songs.
Yeah.
And also love songs, but then again...
But those are usually the weird ones as well.
Yeah.
You don't usually...
They are not... Yeah, the way... the love songs that I like are not usually the like... that you think about, this is a love song.
No, it's usually things that he kind of, when he says, this makes me think about you, and I'm like, this is about like death or something.
Yeah,
but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But me again, on the other hand, I'm very easily sold on these. I'm just like, yes.
Women.
Yeah. What can you do? Yeah. You're gonna be get in trouble for that one. Or do you think women just listen to easy music?
No hating or anything.
All right.
Veronica. This song has this really strong prog feel to it. Especially the way they change and switch between the rhythms. The drums has this really interesting metric modulation feel to it. The way they just drop almost like with half, and they sped up and slow down.
Yeah.
And in the end, there's this really interesting way that John plays his guitar with the Leslie or phaser effect. I'm not sure which one it is, but it has this Beatles feel and reminds me of their song She's So Heavy. Especially when in the end there's this instrumental long fade out.
Yeah, and I think especially the fade out is beautiful because there's so many layers, all the kind of different effects and stuff, but also different voices and harmonies or whatever was happening there. So I think it's just a very interesting song, and it had kind of a Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here kind of era vibe to it as well. And because Wet Sand is my very favorite Pepper song, it might be that I just hear it everywhere because I just want to hear it. But in the beginning of the song, I got some kind of a Wet Sand vibe. So I guess although this is a very different Pepper song because there is that prog vibe, there's still something that's kind of familiar and Pepper-like. So it really works. The 15th song, how did I say that? 15th! The 15th song on the album is Let 'Em Cry, and what I've written about it is that it's nice and it's laid back. and those were the feelings that
Yeah,
I felt.
pretty much the same feels. It little bit reminded me of those 100 Minute album a bit, but yeah, it's great song.
Yeah.
Works.
Probably works on its own, but it works very well in the context of the album and as a part of the album.
Yeah.
Although maybe not the strongest one, in my opinion.
Yeah. The Heavy Wing. This song is again more on the experimental side on the album. It has this really interesting way that John uses the ring modulator and the synths in between, and the overall feel has strong the Empyrean record feel, which is John's own solo album. It was released in 2009. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely go and check it out. But yeah, it has a really it stands out very strongly on its own.
Yes, and a very interesting song, like rhythmically and stuff. But what I reacted on in the very first time I heard it, because I've listened a lot to Black Summer after it was released, and in Black Summer we had na 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 na, and I think in Heavy Wing there's just a part that's na 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 na, that it na 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 na, or it goes somewhere else, but it's just a couple of notes of the same melody, which I don't know if it was on purpose, if it's something they had planned or thought about, or if it just kind of happened, but it was something I kind of reacted on, that it's interesting that in the same album having two songs with, although it's a very small part and obviously the songs are not very similar in other ways, but even that small melody thing was, it was something I reacted on. And then finally the 17th song on the album, Tangelo, the love of my life. No, but it's a great song. I love a good acoustic song with a nice man's voice singing to my heart, and this is for sure a song like that. So yeah, and I think it's just a very great ending to the song, a bit like Road Trippin' on Californication.
Yeah.
A beautiful song, and I think it really sums up the album very well.
Yeah, it's a really good last song for the album. It will work on any album pretty much, but like especially really good last song for this album. Amazing album, and it works. It kind of like cool, laid back.
Some keys as well.
Yeah, it works.
Beautiful
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
I fell in love.
Yeah.
So those were all the 17th song on Unlimited Love. And what do you think overall? What do you think of the album?
Well, first of all, the fact that John Frusciante is back with the Red Hot Chili Peppers is incredible. I still cannot believe it that this is happening. I almost need to pinch myself. And that this is real, and when John left in 2009, I almost felt like, okay, is this like the end of the Chili Peppers? But I'm really glad that they decided to continue.
Yes.
Even after that. And,
Josh was like, we loved Josh as well.
Yeah.
He did a great job. We've seen them live twice with Josh.
Yeah.
And the
Josh
Getaway
incredible.
had some great moments, and obviously Josh is a great musician.
Yeah.
But obviously the Peppers is just something else with John.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know how they obviously felt, but I wouldn't be surprised if they felt some kind of a pressure on this album. I'm obviously hoping that they didn't feel too much pressure, but it would be logical that they did, because obviously people are expecting a lot of them because of this, because people have been waiting for over 10 years to hear these four guys again together. So, but I must say, I think they lived up to at least any expectation I had.
Yeah.
I think they were able to reinvent themselves by still sounding like themselves, and I think that's better than anything they could have done.
Yeah, I mean, it really did like stand out on its own. The production, like I said, is incredible in
Yes.
this album. Rick Rubin is the one and only producer for these guys. It just works. Rubin has produced all their masterpieces, and this from
This is no different.
this is no different. I mean, like 20 or 30 years from now on, and people will remember this as a all-time classic.
Yes.
And what's great about this overall is that the fact that when I think about many other commercially successful big bands, they kind of like, as time goes by, they kind of like almost become a parody of themselves, and it's sad, but it's not the case with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like they completely stepped out on their own game, and they just reinvented themselves pretty much.
Yeah, they really did reinvent themselves here, because obviously you can hear that it's still them. So there's a lot of kind of Stadium Arcadium. Like we did talk about quite a lot before the album came out, that will this be more like Stadium Arcadium, or will this be a lot like, by the way, you know, what is it? So I guess the most similar it is, like the album it's the most similar to is Stadium Arcadium.
Yeah.
But there's still elements from the other previous albums as well. But at the same time, it's completely different. There's some songs on this, especially Aquatic Mouth Dance and These Are the Ways and Bastards of Light, which are just, they are very, like, they bring something very new to the table, but they still fit this vibe. And I think this whole album has just a very summery, very easy breezy ocean, surfing. I've never surfed in my life, but this makes me feel like I could. It's just, I think, well, obviously they are California guys. They know summer. They know how summer feels all year long. We're from Finland. We don't. We have a 3-month summer, which is great because it's very beautiful here then. Come and visit. But most of the time it's dark, it's miserable, it's horrible. Usually, probably in November, this is not the album I'm gonna go for in Finland. But now it's becoming spring, it's beautiful outside, the summer is coming, and I think this will be the album of the summer, and it will be the album for many summers to come. Because this makes me feel good, it makes me dance. And I think this album, with the groove they have, the bass and the rhythmic way John usually plays on most of the songs, it just makes your hips move even though you don't know how to dance. And in this world, which still is quite sad, it's quite depressing at times, a bit scary and unpredictable, having music like this that really just makes you feel uplifted and loved and excited, it really has its place in this world.
If something this world needs more, it is love.
Yes.
And companionship. And this is the record then that just brings it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really does. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go and check it out. And if you have, as you probably have if you are listening to this, tell us in the comments what you thought, what was your favorite song, and did this live up to your expectations? Yeah, I think that's much.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching, and cheers.